G'day, I'm Warren Wilson. I'm an Australian and I'm an inventor. I particularly really loved working with kids, and I developed or invented a reasonably successful kids building block system called Better Blocks many years ago. And we brought it out in competition to Lego. And it gave me a great insight into inventing. Like, I was one of the fortunate inventors who was quite successful at it. And what I like to do now is share my knowledge, share what I've learned about the inventing world, about having ideas and how do we bring them into how do we bring them into the world? And, some of my ideas I've made money from, some of my ideas I've just gifted to other people who can do things with them, just because they weren't things right for me. But inventing is just a wonderful, it's just a wonderful area to be in. And I've met some truly, truly gifted and wonderful people. And Suzi, Suzi, I'm really the co person here. Suzi's the main person, and Suzi is one of them.
Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. I will second. The innovation world, amazing folks. Everyone is pretty supportive of each other, and it's kind of funny the way I met Mr. Wilson over here is I had heard him talk and I was like, I think I need to get to know that guy. How did he have his success? I am curious. So my curiosity by reaching out to people who have kind of done it, been successful, led me to, I don't know how many years we've known each other now, but a long relationship with someone across the ocean. And it's a pleasure to present with him. We just really are good friends and really jive. So I'm really excited to be with him today. I am Suzi Murphy. I am a inventor and entrepreneur, director of Kid Invent Mentors. We provide assistance to kids who want to learn about innovation. And if you have a product that you already invented that you would like to maybe bring to market, we provide guidance for you. So I'm hoping we can help you if needed. And we have a presentation today, Warren and I, that I will get going. So I'm going to share my screen. And let me know. Can you guys see this?
You are good.
We can see it, Suzi.
Okay. The ins and outs of how to reach out to companies. So, welcome, future inventors. And so you have an idea and you want to bring it to market. There is more than one way. What are your options? There's something called venturing and there's something called licensing. So these are two very different ways. As you can see, our octopus friend is the venturing guy, and then the licensing is the other. And we're going to dive into that more. So what is the difference? Venturing is basically starting your own business, all of it. You have to get a business license, the business plan. You have to order the goods. You have to find a manufacturer. You have to do your marketing. I call it soup to nuts, all of it. You have to do all of it, and you have to keep it going. Then there's something called licensing.
Suzi, yes. Should our slides be scrolling through?
Yeah, your screen, your slides are not moving forward.
Oh, they're not?
The first one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You're still on the first one. Okay, sorry about that.
I'm a bit slow, Suzi, sometimes.
No. I apologize. I wonder if I'm on the wrong screen. Let me try this again. I apologize.
It's not, I don't think it's in presentation mode or. Because we can see all the small ones on the side.
Okay. It worked so well in the last one.
It did.
I know. Let's see. Why is it not working? Yeah, let me close out of it for a second. Sorry, guys.
You're right.
Technical difficulties, right? always something. Okay, sorry. Warren, why don't you talk about something while I figure this out?
Reaching out to companies is something that's always fascinated me, because I was when I was younger, to be honest, I was terrified of people, speaking to people, and that was a real challenge for me. And of course, to reach out to companies and sell your idea, you need to speak with people. And one thing I noticed was that many children, and this is kind of pitched more at kids, particularly with Suzi's line, many kids are really gifted at selling their ideas and selling themselves and selling them things. And as they get older, they tend to be a little bit educated out of that natural enthusiasm and natural belief they've got, and they tend to think the facts and that are more important. And certainly, when you're telling someone about your idea, facts are important. But what I like to do with when I'm involved with kids is I also love to keep that genuine enthusiasm and love of their idea and love of what they're doing alive. Because when you speak with people, they notice that and they pick it up. And I think it's a real key to kids pitching their ideas and their inventions successfully to other people, to friends or to other companies, as to have that right mix of, certainly, like Suzi will probably mention a bit later on, about all having the research and the facts and the figures, but still keeping that real belief that what they're doing is really important and it's important to them. And people just buy, you can resist a kid who's enthusiastic about something, right? And people just buy into that. And I think it's a real key to particularly young people's success and us older people. But for me, it's a little bit harder to remember that because I'm just a little bit older. So it was more of a time to go. So Suzi, that was my little
thank you.
bit
Thanks for the filler. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Absolutely.
Okay. So welcome again. And can you see the screen?
Yep.
Octopus Man. Everyone see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So venturing and licensing and are the two ways that you can bring product to market. And okay, so this guy, as you can see, he is doing a lot of things. He is sending packages and email and coming up with ideas and managing money and telling people about his idea. He's a busy guy over here. And that is what venturing is, starting your own business, doing all of it. Soup to nuts. There is no shortcuts here. It is all on you. Licensing, on the other hand, is you're renting your idea. So a company who already has a manufacturer, they can make it for you, they can promote it for you, they will put it into stores, and what you have to do is rent them your idea, and then they will pay you a small part of the money they make. And so for people who have lots of ideas, for people who don't have time for another job, or kids who and families who starting a business is too much right now, this is an option for you. And I wanted for this community to know that there is more than one option. So you have an idea and you want to sell it to the world. How do you get it in front of companies? Warren, can you just call them and say, hey, my name is, I got an idea. Is it that easy?
I'd love to say it is, but it's not quite that easy. But certainly, calling them up is like you've got to call them up. You've got to speak to them, whether it be email or through things like LinkedIn or Facebook or telephone. In my day, it was a telephone. But it's the way you approach them, I found, was the key. It's like, to be honest, selling something was something that I always have struggled with. And it was only probably a couple of years ago, it was a friend of mine, Benjamin Harrison, really nailed it on how to approach companies and make me comfortable was that I wouldn't ring up someone, and the first thing I wouldn't say, was, I've got this great idea that I really think you ought to buy. What I always found as an approach that worked for me was to call up a company and say, look, I've got an idea that I think you might be interested in, and then ask them a question. Would you mind if I sent you through some details about it?
Right.
And it just changes the dynamic of the conversation. And it kind of, some people will say yes, some people will say no. But it kind of changes the dynamic, made me feel really more comfortable, and also makes the person at the other end comfortable. And it made me different from many of the people who just rang up and straight away went into their sales pitch. So that's kind of how I found approaching companies. It just kind of works better. It's the way I would like to be approached, and so I try and treat other people accordingly. There's my little 20 cents worth on that.
I agree. However, when you reach out to them, which we're going to touch upon in a minute, so here's your teaser. When you reach out to them, there are a few things that you need to do first. So how you approach them, Warren gave some great advice, but there are a couple key things that you need to have prepared before you reach out. But this guy wants to know, can I just email them? Since I already got the call answer, can I just email them? And it's a very similar answer. There's a certain way to do it. And as Warren said, permission is something to always ask. Before you just say, here it is, take it. I've got this amazing idea. Just look. So there are some keys there. Warren, you have anything to say about the email?
Actually, the email is, no, you kind of pretty well summed it up. But also, like, I was assuming that also they've done their research, and they believe, they've done their research, and they do have a product that can be out there in the marketplace. But no, I find, to me, as like I suggested before, it doesn't matter what medium I use to approach people, because it is a person at the end of the conversation. It's kind of not a company, it's a person. I always use that same approach. It's just approach them, how I would like to be approached, and
Yes.
what would kind of endear me to them and might make them want to go, oh, yeah, I'm interested. Tell me a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yes, I think that is key. It is a person who is busy, who has a family, who has work, they're overwhelmed. So just keep that in mind. This is not just something you send and it goes into some hole. There is someone looking at this, and so you need to be respectful of the fact that they have a life. Go ahead.
So, Suzi, what you're trying to say is that there's not someone waiting at the end of the phone just waiting for my idea and waiting for me to call them up. They have other people they need to worry about.
Yes, the minute they get your call or email, they stop everything. So keep in mind, when they don't respond right away or pick up your phone call, that doesn't mean that you won't necessarily get a hold of them, but you have to remember you're not the only thing they've got going. So keep that in mind. That is a good point, Warren. Okay, so the answer was, can I just do those? Yes and no, but first you need to do the following. So what do you need to do? You need to do your research about the company that you're reaching out to. It would be good to know about them. What kind of things do they sell? You need to understand your product really well. In and out, is there already something out there that exists that looks like yours? You have to make sure yours is different. Have you done a patent search? A lot of times companies want to know, have you done a patent search? Are we going to be stepping on someone else's idea? Because they don't necessarily want that. If they're going to work with you, they want to make sure there's not going to be any lawyers. Have you filed a provisional patent to give yourself that 12 months to shop it to various companies, which we're going to talk about? Did you create a prototype and test it? Does it work? Do you think it's going to work? How are you going to make it? with what? And then, do you have a sell sheet? And then, do you have a video for them to look at? These are important things. So what are all these things? If you haven't heard of them, we're going to talk about them. You're in luck. So market research. Does it exist? Who would use it? Why is it unique and different? When would they use it? Where? And so the who, what, when, where's, and whys of a product. Warren, what do you recommend on research? What do you think they should be researching?
Well, let me give you an example. With my blocks, and I've actually got some sample blocks here, is that like my blocks move like that. When they click together, they move. And the research I did at the time, Lego was a competition. And at the time, Lego was the only people who made building blocks. Like they were a $2 billion company. There was Lego and there was Lego and there was Lego. So I kind of figured that well, if I made something that was a little bit different from Lego, maybe I had a chance of getting into the marketplace. And that was kind of how I went about it. Like it was a big, well-established company, and I figured that if I made something different and created my niche in a big marketplace, you know, there'd be room in it for me. And that was kind of really how I went about it. And the beauty of a building block was I didn't have to create a new market because Lego had already created it. Like everybody knew Lego, everybody knew building blocks. And I just made something that was similar to Lego, similar concept, but it did something different. And that was kind of my approach to it, really.
Which worked out for you, didn't it?
Well, it kind of did, and it's kind of, but you've summed it up beautifully there. It's like, did a product already exist? Well, Lego existed. I just thought of a different way to use it.
A different way to do it,
about mine,
right? Which is key.
Yeah, that's
right,
it.
so,
a different way to do it. And where would they use it? Well, kids would use it where they use their Lego. It was no kind of
exactly.
special,
Well, the other thing is Lego proved that there was customers who wanted it. And so you just took that and built on it, which was brilliant.
Yeah, because I had a product before that I tried to, it hadn't proved the market. And it cost me a lot of money to learn that you want to get into something that people have already proved the market. Yeah,
right.
Thanks for mentioning
it. Okay, patents. So people think, oh, I got to run out and get a patent. One thing that you need to do is a patent search. So you go to Google Patents or USPTO, and you can look at the pictures and you can see, is there anything kind of similar? There are people out there you can hire to do these things, but you can just kind of look through and see what is similar and compare it to yours. The other thing to consider is a provisional patent, which most people get before they share with a company. And so basically a provisional patent is an application you file with the patent office, and it gives you up to 12 months to shop your product. And a provisional patent gives you, it's called a priority date. So the patent office will give you a date, and then you have 12 months to see if there's any interest in your product in that time before you have to file a full patent. And so it tells people when you put it on your documentation that you show them, which is a sell sheet, which we'll talk about in a minute. I was first in line with this idea. So the patent office knows I'm in line, and I can tell them that I'm ready to go for a full patent. And it lets people know that this idea is mine. And so then you can move to a full patent, but you would want to see if there's interest before you spend that kind of money, because it can be quite costly. Do you have any additional things on this topic, Warren?
No, I think you summed that up beautifully. A professional patent is an easy way to protect your idea, to go out and show people, and also it shows people that you're kind of serious. You know, like
Right.
I've done my research and I've done, you know, like I've done a fair bit of work into what I'm showing you. So it's not just some great idea that I've had yesterday and I'm ringing you up today. It's like you've actually done some work into it. Which,
Right.
so when
And
you
you've
show
taken
people,
the
they just take it more seriously.
right. You've taken the time to file also. I mean, it's
Yeah.
to file with the government.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay. After pounds, prototype. I'm gonna let you talk on this one because this is kind of your wheelhouse. You're really good at these. So,
Thank you. Like I love making prototypes. As you know, Susie knows that, you know, I love making prototypes out of cardboard and paper and all sorts of stuff, right? It doesn't really matter what your prototype is made out of, just as long as you can prove it works, you know, as long as you can prove that the concept works. And with my better blocks, I did a little bit further than that. I actually made, I was fortunate that I was involved in engineering and had a little engineering business. And I actually made the tools to make some blocks myself and made a molding machine to make the blocks. Although these days you can 3D print them. So I actually had blocks that I could test and I could see how they worked and I could get all the fits right and I could go out and show kids. And when I had people who were interested in licensing them from me and doing venturing with me, I could actually show them. So the prototypes are a really good idea to show people. It also builds, for me, it built my confidence in my product. Like when I showed people and kids and they're actually enthusiastic about it and they loved it, I go, oh, maybe I am onto something here. Maybe this is a bit better product than I thought it was. So prototypes to me are really important for being able to show people, to build your own confidence and also to refine your idea because, you know, other kids or whoever you show them to, they may come up with a few better ideas. Like what about if your product also did this as well? So yeah, prototyping to me is fun, making stuff and showing people and just kind of getting it out there in the world to see if my idea really is as good as I think it is, you know.
absolutely. Good summary there, Warren.
Thank you.
Okay, so when you want to reach out, the next two are key. When you want to reach out to companies, you need a sell sheet. So this is like a one-page advertisement about your product, right? So you want to have pictures. This is a little cat scratcher I found. So you want to have pictures about how it's used. You want to have like a one-line tagline and then a couple bullets, benefits. So when you say, do you take outside products? And they say yes, you send them this. This is your advertisement to send out to the companies so that they get an idea of what you have. So this is very important to make a good sell sheet. Think about a magazine that you open up and you're like, oh, I really like this product. And they have all these cute, great pictures and tells you why you should get it. And you're like, I want to get it right now. This would be great. That's what you want to create. The next slide is a pitch video. So with the sell sheet, you send a video and it's like 1 minute long and you identify the problem that people are facing. You talk about the benefits, you introduce your product and you tell them how to contact you. I mean, it's pretty quick. And it's think about those commercials. Call now, $19.99. We get your pots or your scrubber, whatever it is. Don't miss out on this opportunity. It only lasts for an hour. So, and actually Warren was on one of those shows, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
That's why I'm laughing. We produced those commercials and I was on those shows.
We should have shown yours.
No.
And so what you do is you can on these, and this one doesn't have it, but on here you could say watch video and there's a way to link them together. So you send this with a little button here that says watch video now. And so you send the piece of paper and they can watch the video and look at the sell sheet, and that gives them a good idea about what you are trying to sell them. You should be able to explain it all here quickly. Again, people don't have a lot of time. So you've got to get your message across of what are the benefits, how's it going to help people make lives easier quickly and in a short manner. Now, how do I reach out to companies? Oh my gosh, now that I know all the things I need to do to prepare, where do I go? I mean, it's a big world out there. So one of the best places to go is Warren Wilson. You want to tell them?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
I kind of love LinkedIn because
I
it's
do.
you get to meet, you get to connect with people. You can follow their comments. You get to find out what their common interests are, and they're generally, LinkedIn is business orientated people or professional orientated. You know, whether it be teachers or whether it be business people or whoever they are, chief executive officers or whoever they are. LinkedIn has sort of people that are interested in similar things to you. And that's just what you're looking for. You're looking for people who have similar interests to you and who have different skills from you. Like to me, I always say that I'm an inventor. But with me, I didn't have the marketing skills or the manufacturing skills. There was a whole lot of skills that I didn't have that I knew were important. So I had to go out and find them. And LinkedIn is just a great place to find people like that. And it's really easy to connect with people. And I kind of, and that's how people like Suzi and I met through LinkedIn. Just started up a conversation with Suzi, and like Suzi approached me, and we became great friends from it because we had common interests, and like it's just a wonderful platform in my opinion.
Yeah, and thank you for that. So on LinkedIn, each company will have a company page, and on there, under their company will be a list of all the people who work for them. So if you knew that a company made similar products to yours, and maybe you have a product that they'd want to add to their company line, you would reach out to like the marketing department or sales, various people within the company, and you would ask to connect, which we're going to talk about more on how you do this. I just would like to say, since this is for kids, this program, you have to be 13 to have a LinkedIn. So if you're under 13, your parents would have to make one and you would have to work together to reach out. So there are some LinkedIn rules, but it's still a really good place to have a presence.
Hey, Suzi, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want you to know you have about 3 more minutes left.
Okay, quickly. Next. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how do we contact companies? So what you do is when you find that person, say a marketing person, you ask to connect with them. So you're asking permission. And until they say yes, you can't really email or talk to them. They have to say yes, they'll connect. After they connect, then you have 3, they say yes, and then the recommendation is to wait at least 3 days to a week, so you don't seem very eager, even though you are. Give them some time, and then you want to give them a message. And the message is, you introduce yourself and you say you're a product developer, and do they take outside ideas? And then you wait for a response. If they say yes, then you ask who you can send that sell sheet and video to, like we just discussed. And you would send that off to them. And then is the waiting game. So now what you do is you're reaching out. They have your sell sheet and video, and now you're reaching out to them. Usually you can wait a week, every other week, just to check in, say, just wondering if you had an opportunity to review my materials, would love to get your feedback. Every time you send the email, change up the wording a little bit. And you continue to do this until you get some feedback. And now, are you going to get a yes with every single email? No. Are you going to get a response with every single email? No. But you keep at it. Show them you are persistent and you're very interested in working with them. Now, one day, hopefully you're going to get a yes, and they're going to want to talk to you. And that is when you can potentially be on your path for a licensing deal. Warren, do you have anything to add? Sorry, I had to go quick. Julie gave me the warning.
You've summed it up beautifully, Suzi, as you always have, and you beautifully summed it up. And I can, and all I'm suggesting is that if kids are watching and parents are watching, contact Suzi through our kid event mentors, because she's a gifted person, genuinely cares about kids and that being successful, and she has a lot of knowledge and she has a lot of friends. Like, it's just, she hasn't got the answer, she's got a whole pool of people she can
Like
contact.
someone
So,
in Australia.
thanks, Suzi.
Well, thank you. And
At times.
thank you for that. Just in conclusion, it takes a lot of work, no matter what path you choose. And you have to continue, you have to really want this. And it takes a lot of work to reach out to companies and stay on top of it. And you have to be dedicated. But if it's something you truly want, don't give up. Because if you got to know, now you've made a contact that you can reach out to another day. So think of it that way. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Now you have someone who you thank them for their no, see what they said. Maybe you change up what you did. Maybe they didn't like something about your product and enough people said the same thing. You change it up and do something different, and then do it again until hopefully you get a yes. So thank you very much.
Well, you know what? I just want to let you know that Jim has raised his hand, and since Jim is the next presenter, if he's got his hand raised, he must be wanting to ask you a question before he goes on.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, Jim.
First of all, please don't be sorry. I've been listening to most of this really powerful presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Super inspired. And I'm definitely going to go back through YouTube and watch this again. I'm not going to steal. I'm going to positively borrow a lot of the really inspiring bits of information you guys just shared. What a great idea. I don't know why. I mean, I work in design thinking and I work in this mode. I have never thought about challenging young inventors that I work with to make a sell sheet. That is such a great idea. I already use LinkedIn, but that's really cool. I'm totally going to go through and do a play-by-play of what you presented today. And if anybody's listening on YouTube, this was a really good presentation.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much, Jim.